Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Alpha Radagast playing the Tier 8 Premium U.S. Battleship Massachusetts. This is obviously a ranked match, and I haven't really watched this yet, so we're going to be learning about this together. Now, a little bit about the Massachusetts. What can I tell you about that? Well, we'll go to the WoW's wiki, and I can tell you that it has, the main guns are 406s, got 9 of them, 3 barrels on each of 3 turrets. Reload time base is 30 seconds. 180-degree turn time for these turrets, 36 seconds. Firing range, 18.27 base, with a max dispersion of 242 meters. HE shells do a maximum damage of 5,700, that's 5,700, with a 36% fire chance. And HE shell velocity initial is 803 meters per second, fairly slow. The AP shells, again, 406s, do a maximum AP shell damage of 13,100, so they hit very hard. And they have an initial AP shell velocity of 701 meters per second, so exceptionally slow. And it takes a while to get the hang of where to place these shells. Secondaries, it's got a lot of secondaries, and they're actually pretty good, so you can spec this thing for secondaries and have a lot of fun with it. Secondary builds may not be your thing, but they are, at least in my opinion, hilariously fun to play sometimes. So you've got 10 127 millimeter mounts with a base firing range of 7.5 kilometers, and you can see that that's significantly better when you spec for it. It looks like 11.3 kilometers if I'm reading the mini-map correctly. That's the dotted red circle around Alp's ship there. Now the secondaries have a base fire chance of 5%, but you're going to put a lot of them out in the air. You got a reload time of 4 seconds on these 20 guns with a maximum HE shell damage of 1,800. So they can also shred DDs, which is nice. Got a Georgia showing a lot of side. Well, maybe not as much as I thought. It looks like quite a bit, but he's only at 24 degrees of an angle. If you're not using Mod Station, I have to ask you why. When that ship pops back up, you're going to see in the center there, just above the reticule, that there is an indicator. It says 43, right? It's a little circle beneath where the reticule is at, 45. And what's that telling you? It's telling you the relative angle of that ship to you. And you can see now that it's green, it's telling you your chance of not bouncing the shells is greatly increased. When it's not green, your chances of bouncing the shell are increased. And also, when it's green, you've got much more surface area to hit. Now that's just one of many great mods in the Mod Station, and I cannot recommend it enough. I think that's a little too much lead on the Iowa, but we'll see. And it looks like Al's going to push in. The Fletcher is going to take Alpha. Brest is way out of the game at this point up there at Charlie 5. We've got Schroeder, Palmer, and Iowa just north of the Charlie cap. And the red team has really just kind of made Charlie their focus. You can tell they've already secured it, which, you know, good for them. And they do have a little bit of a points lead at this point. As Alf goes to work on the Georgia, both of these battleships have good secondaries, and you can see the Georgia secondaries are opening up as well. Now, if it's played well, I kind of have to give the edge to Georgia here, but I have a feeling the reason I've got this game is because it was a really good game for Alf. So I'm not expecting Georgia to do exceptionally well here. I imagine Brest is going to start adding shells to the mix. Tirpitz looks like he might run aground. I think I'd hold my fire here. Yeah, he's getting awful close. He's slowing down. I think he's scraping the island, and I think those are going to go way out ahead of where he's. Yeah, he's basically come to a stop on the island. Maybe the torpedoes are going to help Alf here a little bit. Yeah, Bear eats 1 torpedo, 2 torpedoes, and it looks like Bear is turning the Georgia in, but I don't see how he survives this. Alf just has to aim, well, basically right where he's aiming right now, and that's going to just go right through. Not sure why he held fire there, but it's not going to make any difference. And Georgia is sunk. So we've got 8 shells on target, 13 secondaries on target, and counting. Shoots down an aircraft, 38,000 damage. Not a bad start as Alf picks up the first kill. Now, the red DD was over there as the bomber takes out their Schroeder. So you got to be careful of torpedoes through this gap. And Tirpitz, of course, has torpedoes as well. I think that's too much lead. No, worked out great. Almost 10,000 damage. And you can see where the Benham's at. I think I'd probably be turning back to the left here. I wouldn't want to eat a face full of torpedoes from Benham. I have a feeling that Alf is trying to maximize the length of time that he's got his secondaries on the Tirpitz, which nothing wrong with that. Just gotta be careful with the torpedoes, and that is gonna really hurt the Tirpitz. Well, there were only 500 and some odd hit points left, but Alf was able to finish him off. So that's kill number 2 with 121 secondary hits. The good guys now have Alpha and Bravo. Iowa's been making a retreat, which I think is smart. He's really banged up. But if he keeps his distance, he limits the number of shells that bad guys can put on him. He's angled fairly well as Alf tries to punish the Benham. And you can see Brest is right behind Alf now, adding his guns to the mix. Here come the torpedoes. Those are, I'm sure, from the starboard side of the Benham. The port torpedoes are going to be, yeah, there they are right there. 16 torpedoes that Benham can spit out. So when you see a Benham turning around, you know the other batch is on its way. And the Brest eats 1 torpedo, which is not too bad. Looks like he's going to angle up against the Iowa and Schroeder. Benham out there, I don't see how he survives if he stays at that kind of range. And that's, you can see the really slow shell velocity there. I'm sure it looked, because it did to me, like those shells were going to hit, but they're just so slow. Benham was able to really just kind of run underneath them. Schroeder is, well, he's in big trouble. This is almost certainly going to hurt, as Alf has a full broadside shot on him here. And there's the Citadel. The secondary's got to work on the Benham. So unless Fletcher or Brest beat Alf to the punch, Alf's secondary should finish off the Benham. That's going to be kill number 3, and it is. And now we're going to see how maneuverable the Massachusetts is. It is really maneuverable. And I think I'd be angling the guns just to finish off the Iowa here. As Schroeder looks like he's going to try and get close. And Alf's changed his mind. He's going to go ahead and finish off the Iowa. I think that's a great call. That's kill number 4. And I think this is going to end with Alf picking up a crack. And so I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time here other than say, Alf, great game. I really appreciate you sending this in. I'm sure your team were thrilled. Ooh, double Citadel. Next shot's going to end it. Those of you joining me, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And I'll see you next time.